So the Cheeser and Nali Water God Temple maps are a bit interesting. They were developed by Misha the Sled Dog, and for starters, these maps are really labeled as Unreal, by which I mean to say that when you're in this sort of environment, you think of Unreal, nothing else. Supposedly, the architecture was inspired by the Indiana Jones series when they're in the temple and everything. The architecture and lighting are fine, but the architecture and creativity, for the most part, are interesting and eye-catching. And they make the maps more memorable. I mean, sure, it isn't necessarily awing, but it is interesting and it is eye-catching, and that's important. As far as gameplay goes, I'd have to say that it's really nothing too special. There's really nothing interesting about the combat, and the monsters are placed in obvious places, which isn't a bad thing, but it really doesn't add to the overall experience either. You get a lot of background information about Nali here. Mostly the same old minor details, but it's still something, so that's a plus on storyline implementation. So, ultimately, I gave Atmosphere 4, Conceptual Grandness a 3, Gameplay 3, Visual Impact 4, and Storyline Implementation 4, which gives us an overall rating of a solid 3.6. That's better than the last two maps.
Die, bitch.
Mentally retarded Nali of the game. Seriously though, I mean, think about how cool Nalis could have been had they not been portrayed as a peaceful race. I mean, what natives didn't fight their enemies? These guys aren't Buddhist monks. In fact, some of the architecture and texturing suggests that the temple and therefore the Nali culture was sort of mapped after the Mayan and or Aztec architecture and lore. In fact, one of the textures in ancient.utx, which is the main texture package for the Nali temples, is an Aztec calendar. And the last time I checked, the Aztecs were probably the most war-loving natives around. Anyway, that's just something to think about. I think that the Unreal team might have been trying to set up some fighting Nalis or something like that. Maybe not, though. See, there's this variable in the Nali properties called tool, but it seems that the code for it was never implemented, therefore you can't really do anything with it. Once more, another campaign operation of Nali had the idea of actually making Nalis fighting force. And they actually act fairly well instead of running into elevators and stuff like that. In my experience, at least. And by the way, this fly thing, just be careful with it, especially if you're trying not to get hit, because these things are annoying and spawn infinitely. I think there's a good chance that they will eventually hit you if you're not careful. And there's also a scar behind the door.
You be dead. That had to hurt.
Okay, this Nali issue, I have no idea what's wrong with him. I did about 10 retries here, only because every time I killed a Scar Warrior, the Nali would get scared of me. Eventually, I just simply said screw it and went on. Now, I also have to apologize for the number of secrets in the temple that I didn't detail, because there are a few. But the map is pretty long, so I didn't want to spend an extra 5 or 10 minutes detailing secrets and whatnot. And also, just a tip for the Slith projectile, it's extremely annoying because of how slow it is. I actually had to retry it because I dodged one shot and caught the other, because it was going so slow. It also has a generous radius considering how small it looks, so be mindful of them, don't get near them. Melee attack is much worse, so don't get near the Slith either. Okay, just in case you haven't realized, you need to be careful with the Sliths because they are extremely annoying. I would argue that they're more annoying than the Scar, really. The best way to fend them off and kill them is to use the shock combo, definitely, because these guys have a lot of health, and some of them even have more health than some Scar Warriors. So, Yeah, the best way, especially if there's like 3 or 4, which is going to be common in Unreal difficulty 3 or 4 on yet simultaneously. So what you need to do is just try to, you know, push them off somewhere if they're on an edge or something like that, or just use the shotgun, which is a little tip for you there.
Anyone else want some?
And there will probably be a scar waiting for you after you get the 8-ball above the lava. Now, the 8-ball is obviously an extremely useful weapon. Just make sure you don't blow yourself up with it. And, okay, now we're overpowered with 300.
on.